Do you want to be at the right place at the right time with the right people? That can only happen when you yourself have created such an enormous amount of perceived value around yourself, and you've used these psychological strategies so that people who have opportunities to give you, who have those special chances to give you, they actually give it to you and not the other person. How do you do that? You don't have to do some crazy thing or some crazy psychological tactic. You just need to be charismatic, likable, and also know exactly how to gain those opportunities when other people fall short at them. And that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in this video. I think this is the most important skill for students to have, because sometimes the opportunities will come to you. Most times you're going to have to create your own opportunities, you're going to have to search for your own opportunities, and you're going to have to get opportunities from other people that have those opportunities that you want, right? How do you get them to give you those opportunities? You do them with these 7 habits that will instantly make you more likable, more charismatic, and more likely to get those life-changing opportunities that will completely change your life, that other people don't get but you get. Not because you're someone special, just because you've used these 7 amazing tactics. The reciprocity principle. People act in the way that you've treated them in the past because it creates a sense of obligation and goodwill. So people tend to return those favors that you did for them at a point, but you don't have to do them by making it very clear that you're doing those things for them because you want something back. You just need to do them in such a subtle way that you instantly seem way more charismatic. This also increases your perceived value, because now you're not just a taker, you're also a giver. Now you're also somebody that is willing, somebody who has taken the initiative to build that rapport with that other person. Next up, we have the scarcity effect. Have you ever noticed that the person that ignores the other person the more is often the person that other people chase? Like if there's, for example, like a friend in a group chat, right? This person is reading all the messages, they're never replying. Now this person is all of a sudden standing out and everybody wants to talk to them and everyone wants to, hang out with them. Why? Because things that are limited or scarce have a way higher sense of perceived value, because people around them just think, wow, this person is always unavailable. This means that there's a lot of mystery. They're a blank canvas. You can draw anything onto their personality. This is why you'll notice that the most interesting people you see around you are like the celebrities that are very mysterious. You don't know a lot about them. So definitely use that scarcity principle to not always be this needy, desperate person, right? Be genuine, be authentic, but don't always be available when you're not. If you're unavailable, say that, okay? Because it doesn't reduce anything, it actually increases it. It increases your perceived value, because that's just a psychological tactic. Next up, we have the consistency bias. People tend to follow through with their past actions. If somebody in the past says something, you know what, I am going to be there at 4:30 p.m. at your house and we're going to study together. That sentence, if you can get that person to say that sentence, then they are way more likely to actually show up and do the commitment than they were if they did it on text, for example. Why is this? Because we are more likely to try to act in accordance with what we've said in the past, because that actually creates our sense of identity. Like if I say to myself every single day, I'm so smart, I'm so reliable, I'm so consistent, blah, 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 then I'm going to start morphing myself into that because I want to act in accordance to what I've said in the past, right? We're always trying to act in accordance of what we said in the past. It's a whole principle for manifestation. You can also use this when it comes to making people become consistent in their actions. Next, we have the social proof phenomenon. This phenomenon basically says that when other people around them are doing something, they are more likely to do it. Let's say there's an opportunity that you have coming up. You're going to see every single person there incorporating the same strategy. They're all going to be acting in one way. Why? Because people around them are acting in that way. People around them are all using that strategy to suck up to the teacher. So what you're going to be doing is something different. You're going to be more genuine, you're going to be more authentic, you're going to be more like yourself, and you're actually going to tell that person why you're fitted for the role instead of just constantly being a puppy around them, Do things that other people are not doing, because you know the reason that everyone's doing the same thing is because of the social proof phenomenon. They are more likely to do things that other people are doing because it creates a sense of comfort. It creates a sense of, these people must know what they're doing if so many people are doing it. So more people get added. This way, it's very, very easy for you to stand out, for you to be noticed, and for you to get opportunities that other people don't. Next up is the framing effect. How information is presented influences the meaning. Let's say your resume currently has a very, very vague list of what you've done. even though those things could be this big, right? They could be so monumental, so important, so beneficial to the company you're applying for. If you haven't framed those sentences and that description of what you've done in a way that aligns with what they want, they won't really like it very much, because you haven't used the framing effect to your advantage. You always need to frame things in a way that the other person is now perceiving that information in a different way. The information can be the same, but just a difference in the words that you're using, in the way that the information is being presented, can completely change the meaning, and it can completely change the context. This can also increase the perceived benefits and also mitigate the potential risks. So let's say you have a teacher, right? This teacher is so mad at you because you never bring your freaking history book to class. Very bad example, but anyway. So you never bring your history books to class. This time you walk up to your teacher and say, "Miss, I couldn't bring my history book because I genuinely have not been able to find it for a very long time. I am very, very considerate, and I totally understand why you must be feeling that I'm unreliable. From now on, I'm going to be bringing my history book and making an effort to go to the supermarket and get it. But tomorrow morning, you will have that history book on your desk." Boom! I was confident. I mitigated the potential risk of me not following through and being a cocky, unreliable student that just doesn't get their work done. I also kind of validated her concerns. I mitigated the risk that I don't understand what she's saying. What other option does she have? She's gonna shut up and be like, "Okay, yep, I understand," because I've already said that I understand her point of view, so she's not going to defend herself. That is how you can use the framing effect to your advantage. Was that the best example in the world? No. Was that an example that will convey the idea? Yes. Next up, we have the peak end moment. If I'm having a conversation with a friend, right, we had a beautiful conversation. They're not going to remember what happened for the majority of it because it's just a blur. It's just like hours went by. But let's say towards the end, we had a funny moment, right? We were laughing, we were having a blast during the end. That will stay in the person's mind. Their entire perception of what happened is influenced by what happened towards the end and what happened towards the beginning. If you're trying to make somebody like you, just make sure that the first moment you see them, your first impression and your last impression, so high. Even if throughout the whole thing you guys were just scrolling on your phones, doesn't matter. If you have a good first and end moment, that will increase your perception, and also you can control how that person sees you after that meeting, because people don't remember hours, they only remember the peak moments. Next, we have the anchoring bias. The initial information you present to anyone, right, that will influence their decisions that they make after that. So whatever initial information you're using use it to anchor that person, freaking grab them, and then after you've grabbed them, now you can actually make them do anything that you want, because that initial information really set them up for what subsequent decisions they're going to be making. So increase fairness, it can increase reliability, so use that to your advantage. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys tell me what tips were the best. Comment down below what you guys thought about this. Do you think that there's any other tips that you've used to get an unfair advantage, especially in social settings, especially with those people that can give you those opportunities? If there's any video that you want me to post that you haven't seen on my channel yet, make sure to comment down below, because I really do analyze all of the requests you guys send, because I really want to know what your opinion is so I can help as many people as possible. Thank you so much for watching once again. Make sure to go into my description, because I've created a new Discord server. Make sure to add yourself there, because I talk a lot about motivation, not just study there. So you can definitely add yourself in. The link is always going to be in the description.